Hello, loves. It's Hills from the Blue Flame Apothecary. I'm coming to you from the woods, the mountains near Yosemite in California. This morning, I woke up from a dream time, this kind of meditation, and the last thing that I kind of saw before I re-entered waking consciousness was this beautiful tree with a field laid out before it. And as I was watching this space, a wash came over it, like a color wash, almost like changing filters on Instagram. And everything became super vivid. All the colors were enhanced. If you've ever taken psilocybin or looked through a pair of glasses that really boosted the color of everything, this is the colorscape that happened. And I was like, ooh, what filter is that? And this knowing or voice or whatever you want to call it came in, and it was, sit beneath the tree and let the galactic energy flow. This was the name of the filter. And I instantly knew that was where we were going to go today. That I was going to go find the tree that I'm going to sit under while we let the galactic energy flow. We are currently in what is called the Sirius Gateway Portal. We're at that time of year when the star Sirius sets in the night sky and meets conjunct with Sol. This is a time, if your birthday is during this time, a lot of times they'll say that you're a Sirius star seed, where you have incarnated directly from Sirius in many traditions. Sirius is considered kind of the galactic center sun, like the sun to our sun. And if you can think of this in a way, you can allow yourself to kind of go into this realm of stars have consciousness, which I've said before, but not really dove into. We could think of Sirius as like the parent, the birther of our sun, the higher self to our sun. Just as we each have our own higher self, Sirius could be seen as our sun's higher self. So this is a fun place that we could explore. How far can you allow your system to kind of go with this? If you can feel into your heart and your higher self, and that you extend far back and up and out and over and all around into everything, can you allow yourself to feel that our sun can also do that? And as our sun shines light on us, it's bringing this information to us that it's collecting from all around. All of its ties and its connections to higher self and the dimensional realms that it connects into. Wow, we're really going there today, aren't we? They did tell me to let the galactic energy flow. One of the other ways that maybe we can play with this energy is through the idea of us each containing multitudes, us each containing universes and nebulae and solar systems and all of the planets and things, we can get really microcosmic to help us get to the macrocosmic, maybe. And one of the ways that I find really helpful to do this is meditating into like the deep places where my microbiome and my histamines and all of the little beings that live within us and help regulate our systems. Each of those tiny, tiny microscopic little things to us has an entire universe around it. And it's inside of us. And there's hundreds of thousands of them. And they help control and regulate our mood and our digestion and all of the things that is what makes us these animate beings. And you could even think of like the little critters on your skin that help clear the dead skin away. And once you're able to like really feel and explore these realms and how can I rebalance these realms and move and shift and be in communication with all of these little beings, which may seem almost impossible. Perhaps from going within in this way, you can start to feel how you are that same entity to this wider universe, to this solar system, to this planet, to Sirius, to all of the stars and nebulae and the multiverse. And just like the decisions that you make as far as what you're going to put in your body are both governed by the beings that live within you, but also help keep the system in which they live balanced and happy. And that can be food that you ingest, liquid that you ingest, what you put into your field in general. So too, that which you transmit, that which you release into the world, like those microbiome with you. If your histamines get out of whack, you get allergies, right? If what you're transmitting out is not coming from a place of love, can that not just shift your immediate surroundings, but out and out and out and out and out into the great beyond? There's a meditation, one of the earlier meditations that came through, I think right around the Lionsgate portal. It might have been a little later than that, called The Universe Within, that I currently share only in the members portal, but I'm going to make it available for, I think it feels like it's going to be available until we reach that Lionsgate portal on August 8th. So you'll have some time to explore, but it takes you into these realms, into this microbiome. Before I close, I do feel called to share a little bit more about this energy of Sirius, and there's a lot of connection to Egypt with Sirius, but there's also a lot of connection to early Christian and early Jewish mysticism traditions. Sirius was very, very important to the cosmological spiritualism and creation myths of this kind of Middle Eastern, India, Syria, into China, and up into southern Europe, even southern France. It kind of grew from that like Egypt, Syria area, and many of the gods that were the creation myths that came through were thought to be linked to Sirius, to the lion, which is also a dog, which is also a bird. If you look at Egyptian hieroglyphs, you can see this motif. That if you look at the griffin, the animal being, the mythical animal being, half eagle, half lion, this is very, very Syrian. So this is another place, if you're not drawn to diving into Syrian energy through Sirius, the star Syrian, not Sirius, Syria, the country, although you could definitely do energy work with that place as well if called. But maybe dive in through animal if that feels more aligned for you, and practice with meditation of eagle or hawk or falcon energy. There's actually a lot of hawks. You may hear them in the background of this recording around me right now. But that energy of the perspective, that higher perspective that you gain as one of these very high altitude soaring birds, with that grounding sovereignty that the lion holds, that queendom or kingdom that the lion holds, and how can you hold yourself in this place of viewing things from this higher perspective while also staying in a grounded, self-mastered place, not getting too far out that you can't root down the knowledge that you get, the knowledge that you receive, the knowledge that you need to integrate now and perhaps anchor into the Gaia plane. This is a really powerful portal. It opened on the 3rd of July. I'm recording this on the 4th of July, Independence Day here in America, which I was also musing on. I'm going to take a little segue here because it's so interesting to me that this day, this week of this Sirius Sol conjunction is when the country, United States, celebrates their independence. And if you look at the language using the parlance of their times that was written into the Declaration of Independence, which is what in America we are celebrating today, it is this higher view, bringing this high truth of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness into anchored, grounded reality that each one of us as beings has this sovereign right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, have we gone astray in this country? Well, yeah, you could say we probably have. But it feels to me also that I was describing it yesterday as we've taken a few steps back, but it's a slingshot. We have a slingshot around us, and we have this potential to, once the slingshot lets go, catapult forward farther than we can possibly comprehend at this moment. So it's a real opportunity time. Segue aside, this portal is open around the 3rd through it peaks on the 7th, and there's a little wiggle on either side. I usually put it more like last week of June into the 2nd week of July is you get the echo feel, and if you're born in those times, you might feel a lot of connection to Egypt or those regions, or to the star Sirius or Sirius B, because Sirius B has a slightly different space, so it hits a little bit on the outside of the exact, what we look at as the exact from our current perspective. Just like Lionsgate Portal, for some people and places it will be on 8-8, but it's more about what 8-8 symbolizes, because depending on where you are on this planet that orbits around the sun, which has a moon that orbits around it, where the sun is hitting and where Sirius is rising or setting changes. So your Lionsgate Portal could actually be the end of July or the end of August, depending on where you are, which hemisphere you're in, and latitude, longitude, etc. But there's also power in the date that we chose to celebrate the conjunction, which is the July 7th, 7-7. 7 is considered such a lucky number because you're coming into a new way of being. You've left the pivot point now. If you can think of the numbers as like balanced on either side, 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 9, depending on how you're looking. And so you've left that pivot point of the 5, and you don't have necessarily the wobbliness that 6 would have. In dimensionality terms, 6, the even numbered dimensions are non-mattered, but it's more than that. It's hard to describe, but they are numinal. They are transition points would be a good way to put it. They're transition points. So if you're thinking of moving from like 5th dimensional into 7th dimensional, you would move through the 6th dimension. So to go back to our seesaw, you can see how that 6 then is a transitional energy, and it's beautiful, but it's also moving you into another place. It's moving you into another place, and this place is the 7. Each number is moving you into another place. These things are really hard to language, but it's also that it's that day of rest, right? If you look at the book of Genesis and the coded language that was used here, the 6th day was the day that the finishing touches were being put on this creation that we call Earth. And the 7th day was a time to say, oh, okay, now let's really integrate this and feel this and allow it to bloom into what it's going to be. That's what the number 7 feels like. And so if you can think of receiving over the course of these next few days those codes that this portal, this gateway is opening up, whether you decide to go in deep through the universe within meditation or on your own, or if you choose that it feels more powerful to go with animals and the eagle and the lion, or if there's something else that calls to you, whatever it might be, to allow yourself to sit under the tree and let the galactic energy flow. And then on that day of 7/7, maybe take a moment to feel what has birthed through you. And then, and on again. You can allow yourself to really integrate and stay open and curious for what might be birthing new and through as we approach 8/8 and that next phase. I feel like I could talk all day about this, but I think we'll leave it there. If you enjoyed this update, please do subscribe and like the channel. Or, yes, subscribe and then like the video and ring the bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new energy update. Check out some of my other updates. And I'm going to put a link, an end card, to the universe within at the end of this video so that you'll be able to go straight in if you feel called to do that. Also, if you feel called to journey further into these dimensions and realms and planes of existence with me, I have a couple of options on how you can do that. There's the one-on-one sessions where it's a communication between your guides and my guides, and we sit together and go over some stories that your guides want you to hear through your astrological chart, and an oracle reading with meditations and all different sorts of yummy things. Sometimes light language comes through. Will be part of that as well. I'll post a link in the descriptions if you're interested in that. There's a video that really goes into what to expect from a one-on-one session. There's also the Blue Flame Apothecary Members Portal, which it would be so beautiful to welcome you. We have a really lovely members gift this month. It is a tea, a smoke, a bath soak. It kind of encompasses so many abilities, like all of us, containing multitudes. And it has rose petals and uva ursi and passion flower and tulsi and raspberry leaf. It's delicious. I have used it in all of the ways that it has come in to be used, and it has been amazing. It's also it was gridded with star mica amongst other crystals, and a piece of star mica is something that's being sent along with the gift. It's really that ability to go into self, but through starlight, as opposed to the void space. And so it's that mirror of availability. There's also lunar cycle, pick a crystal, oracle readings, and just a really beautiful community, and frequency meditations and live transmissions. There's all kinds. It's a great little place. I love it, in the Blue Flame Apothecary Portal. I'll put a link to that as well. Oh, may your journey, however it looks and however you're called to embark upon it, in all the ways, be so beautiful and exactly what you need it to be, as always and in all ways, and from all the dimensions. So much and many loves to you.